Emotionally immature parents tend to place their children in a role, and this is where the parent relates to an internal idea of the child instead of getting to know the actual evolving human in front of them. This role can be positive or negative. You could be the mini me or the responsible one, or you could be the ungrateful one or the dramatic one. Either way, it simplifies the child into something predictable in order to stabilize the parent's worldview. Instead of approaching the child with curiosity, who are you? What are your feelings? What do you like? The parent has an imagined narrative and they form interactions around that delusion. What drives this pattern is the parent's need for psychological consistency. If the child exhibits traits that mirror the parent, their temperament, sensitivities, or interests, the parent may over identify with these traits and act like they're defining features of the child. Aspects of the child that don't match the parent's self image or expectations get minimized, dismissed, or denied. The child ends up living this curated personality. The parts that confirm the parent's story are highlighted, but the parts that the parent is embarrassed of are treated like phases, anomalies, or ignored completely. Since the parent is interacting with the role versus the person, new information does not update in their perception very well. Even as the child grows, demonstrates different preferences and competence, the parent often tends to respond to the earlier version. Curiosity requires a parent to tolerate discomfort and revise assumptions about themselves and their child and how they relate to their child. Role assignment reduces the parent's discomfort by keeping things fixed, but ultimately it increases distance between the parent and child. This dynamic shows up as selective attention. The parent notices anything that highlights their narrative and then overlooks things that don't. Exaggeration of characteristics. A very small trait becomes some defining characteristic of the child's identity in the parent's mind because it reminds the parent of themselves or reinforces the parent's internal story that they've created about the child. Resistance to updates. When a child says that their preference has changed, instead of being seen as growth, the parent views it as rebellion, confusion, or inauthenticity rather than development. And predictable reactions are often present. The parent responds based on who they think the child is instead of what's actually happening right in front of them. Being placed in a role can make a child feel unseen. They are treated like a character in a script instead of a real person. Seeing a child as an extension of themselves or placing them in a role is yet another way that the emotionally immature parent creates permanent dysfunction in a family system due to their underdeveloped emotional state. Have a good day.